Welcome to the daily Jerry Anderson programme where, due to recent illness, the presenter shows signs of falling apart. He is babbling incoherently and picking on the staff. Just a normal day, you might think, but no, he's hysterical, in the negative sense of the word. A disturbing thing has happened, I have to say this, and I want to ask you because I haven't been out, but I hear disturbing rumours from all other kinds of people. Apparently Easter weekend is finished. Nobody. And do you know it was always a big Easter? It was always a big Easter weekend in Donegal. It's all finished. There's nobody in Donegal. All the people from Belfast used to go to Donegal at Easter. Why, they stopped doing it. Everywhere was deserted last night.
I was in a place called, known to you and I very well, Moville.
When were you there?
Yesterday afternoon.
Was anybody there?
No.
Where is everybody?
It's deserted.
I know. Do you know what I think is happening? And I've been talking to a couple of people who own pubs. Apparently what's happening now, people are going to Tesco's and Sainsbury's and things like that, and they're piling on the cheap drink. Now they're going home and they're putting on their barbecues and they're watching the big 50-inch TV screens and they're sitting smoking and everything.
That's life. That's how. I
know, but this is the road to nowhere, Sean.
Oh, I know that.
People won't socialise. This is the road to nowhere. This is how you get dysfunctional families. Mm-hmm. We have to go out and socialise and meet people you don't know. Otherwise, you're just sitting looking at your wife drinking wine. And then do you know what happens then? Hey, remember that time? Remember that stuff?
No.
Well, that's what people do. And I'm not talking about you, you're so happy. But in a dysfunctional family, everything is great. And everybody's sitting there and they're barbecuing. And they're having a few drinks. They're watching 50-inch TV. And then they sit and drink. And after about 2 bottles of wine, one of them looks at the other and says, you know something? Do you remember that time? You know that kind of thing? Which never happens when you go out. But it always happens at home. Do you know what I'm talking about?
We don't know. No, Janet and I haven't a clue what you're talking about.
That's because you've no lives. May I just say this to you? I've got a posting from the Free Jim McDonald website. It says, his only crime was loyalty to Liz, so it was. And another disturbing piece of news reaches me over the weekend. Waking up, will you, for God's sake? It's an Easter bank holiday Monday.
We're just sitting here listening to you.
I know, that's what I mean. But see, join in, Look at you and Janet sitting there like two cadavers. Cadavers? What do you call them? How do you pronounce that? Cadaver?
That'll do. What's that?
Corpses. Right. That's what I'm trying to say. Sitting there like two corpses waiting for the embalmer. Oh. Embalmer! And when is he coming anyway?
Who?
The president, the embalmer.
Oh, I don't know.
Did you see? There's no fun in you.
I don't know.
Embalmer, Obama.
Yes,
don't have a bit of fun. For God's sake, listen, take your drawers off and have a bit of fun. The presenter has reached the next to terminal stage when he cannot resist talking about days gone by that he thinks are important, conveniently forgetting the abuse he used to heap upon Walter Love for doing exactly the same thing. How time changes and withers them. I can confirm your band experiences of playing. We talked about whenever I used to play in bands and stuff, and the fellow used to make you play at 9 o'clock on January night.
Yes.
Well, a gentleman writes to me and he says, I can confirm your band experiences of playing in some rural venues after starting to play to an empty hall and long before the punters arrived. What's that noise?
I'm moved because everything got very loud all of a sudden there.
The man would fire up a Super Ser gas heater at the back of a hall the size of a large barn. Did you ever see those things in the back of the dance halls? They called them like big jet engines. Did you ever see those?
Aye, but no, never in a dance hall.
Oh, yes. But you see, what they used to do is, to get this big thing like a big jet engine, like a heater.
Yeah,
and then they'd put it on at 9 o'clock, but then they'd take it away at about 11 o'clock when people started to come in, you see. Uh-huh. They'd heat up the hall with it.
Yeah.
And the most amazing thing about the jet engines was that there was nowhere you can really stand in front of it. Do you know what I mean? There's only two things that can happen. First of all, the thing goes... It's going like that, you see? Mm-hmm. And the hot air is going over the hall. But no matter where you go, it's not warm. Because by the time you stand against the wall, you see, by the time the hot air hits you, it's cold. So in actual fact, it's a cold wind, a cold breeze. So you're standing, you're freezing, so it's worse. And then you try and find a position where you hit the air where it's actually warm. And then what you do is you make the mistake of standing in front of it. And then your trousers turn to cinders. Because it's either burny, or else cold. And that's what he's talking.
I've never, ever seen one of those in a dance hall. In a garage, yes.
Were you ever in a dance hall at 9 o'clock at night?
No.
Well, there you are. That's why you've never seen one. And sometimes the man would fire up a Super Ser gas heater at the back of the hall the size of a large barn. Next, he would walk around the floor sprinkling floor wax. Have you ever seen that?
Yes.
The band could perish like Scott's Antarctic expedition, but the dancers must have a nice slide to their feet. The crunch really came after doing a 9 to 2, or even worse, the killer dance that would last from 10 o'clock to 3. when the wee sleeked weasel sidled up after the penultimate song, the owner of the hall, that is, and he'd say, "There's 10 quid for another hour, boys." He did not understand that you built to a peak with the best stuff to the last, and by the time it reached 2 o'clock, you'd spent your bolt, and you'd played all your best stuff. By this time, we'd have played most of the repertoire twice, and starting all over again was akin to, during Is Your Mother Still Working, somebody screaming, "Keep going, yeah, boy, yeah!" And all you want is a fag. Still, for all that, great times and fabulous memories, but I did not know it at the time. That's Sam, a semi-retired drummer of my age bracket, who's looking back on his life and realising that he enjoyed himself, even though he didn't realise it at the time.
I was thinking about that.
That's what you'll do. You'll look back on all the mornings that you sat there and looked at me stupid and said, I enjoyed that, but I didn't realise it at the time. And so it goes on ad nauseum, long screeds of reminiscence about matters which the listeners don't care about. His behaviour is deteriorating as the programme proceeds. Mercifully, the clock ticks apace, and it will all soon be over.
When I was going there paying me 7 and a tanner.
7 and 6?
To see you. Right?
Pre-decimal coinage.
Did you guys repeat the numbers?
Oh, yes.
See, I'm not aware of that. Even the Miami and the Royal and the Drifters, all those.
Oh,
big,
yes.
all repeated.
Oh, yes.
See, I don't remember that at all. I don't remember them repeating the numbers.
Of course, what you did was you went out to see if you had a relief band. If you're playing from 9 to 2 and you were going on from like 12 to 2,
Aye.
You'd go out at 12. The band and the people and the dancers would be nicely lubricated. Mm-hmm. Particularly the band. Sometimes the band. Do you know how we used to test our fitness? Do you know how we used to do that?
Physical fitness?
Yeah.
What?
No, levels of drunkenness.
No.
There were 2 levels. The one that we always thought was serious was, you know, when you put on your trousers, your band trousers,
right?
You fell.
Oh, right. So you were well mixed.
If you could put on your trousers without falling, you were okay.
Yeah.
But if you did fall, and I mean really fall,
yes.
I mean not just stumble, I mean just really fall onto the ground, like crack your skull and stuff like that, you were deemed maybe perhaps not unsuitable to go on, but you had to go on anyway. But they say, you keep your eye on him. So if the trumpet player put on his trousers and fell dead, you need to watch out for the trumpet that night because you knew it wasn't going to be 100%. Anyway, what were we talking about?
I don't remember the bands repeating the numbers.
I don't recall repeating the numbers at any time.
I do remember the band, and it's a thing I never liked, when half the band went off the stage. He's pulling up his show. Why did you do that? I'm going to tell the listener what you did there now.
Don't.
He pulled up his T-shirt and showed me his chest.
Chest?
Yes, I cleaned it up there. Why do I want you to look at... Look, Janet. Stop showing Janet your... That's what you get.
It's my illness.
Stop it.
Look, you make me cough. Do you know what's happened? Whatever germ has invaded my body has entered my brain. It's making me... Woohoo! It's making me show Janet stuff that Janet doesn't need to see.
No.
Anyway, I'm sorry about that.
The band left. Half the band left.
Excuse me?
Half the band left, went into the room for a smoke.
Oh, the break. No, you only had that if there was no relief band.
I never liked that.
No, I never liked that either.
Were you one of the guys that was left? There's always 3 left.
I could never leave.
The drummer could never leave. The poor drummer never got off.
No.
No, don't go there. Don't go there.
The listeners are beginning to rebel, threatening to turn over to Frank Mitchell, or worse, if that is possible. It was only a matter of time. Look what you've done.
What?
There's a woman in a car going to a picnic in Newcastle. She's trying to change the channel, and her father won't let her. It's your fault. It couldn't be me. It couldn't be me. It's whatever you're doing is putting her off. She says... It must be. What other explanation? Janet, what other explanation could there be? I mean, do you think she doesn't like me? It's obviously you're putting her off, you know. So, let me just read this and see what it says. I'm in the car with my dad, Alex, en route to Newcastle for a picnic listening to you on the radio. I've tried to get him to change the radio station as Sean is not quite my cup of tea.
That's just a lie. That's a lie.
Well,
that's a lie.
Well, it says...
Stop scratching yourself.
What it actually says is, as you're not quite my cup of tea. But Dad is trying to educate me, apparently. He would like you to play the Dolly Birds to cheer me up.
I want to ask you something now.
Go ahead.
Did you ever go on a picnic?
I went on a picnic with my mother and father.
I've never been on a picnic.
No, we went on a picnic. Do you know what my father did one time?
Janet has.
But
I haven't.
She's like that. My father brought.
He's doing things at the door.
My,
No, it's our door.
who is?
Ken.
Dirty wee. What's he doing? Stop that, Ken. There's a woman there. For God's sake, have you no shame on an Easter Monday? God's not raised up yet. When does he come up?
He's way out. What? Picnic.
My father brought me and my mother camping one time. He brought us camping. He got a tent, and he went down to we went down to Bray, and he found this hillside.
you.
I swear. Ken has just come in. He's pointing. He's pointing it. He says you're not loud enough. Too loud if you ask me. I'm sorry. I don't put your thing up far enough. Thank you for listening. Back tomorrow.